And we're here in hour 7.
Hi.
Hi, yeah, we're live. See, it says
We're live
right there.
We have 0 viewers, but that's okay because
it's not time yet.
Well, but we know that YouTube's recording this, or Google is,
That's
and
right.
they own the YouTubes. So at some point, this video and you and me talking like this before anybody shows up is going to be live.
That's right.
That I know you could pull down and you could edit if you want because
this will be in the replay.
This will be in the replay? Okay.
Cool.
So here we are. So we're just going to wait for people to come.
Yeah.
All right.
And
that's fine.
Tweak the...
Yes.
So yes, you can do Google Hangouts anytime, anywhere, because we just fired this one up pretty much from scratch.
In a hotel room that Lou is staying in because he's speaking down the street.
At a big conference.
Huge conference. I love that. All right, so we still have 0 viewers.
I don't even know if that will reflect the accurate amount of...
You don't think?
No, I guess it would. All right, so you're seeing a little bit of behind the scenes here.
Yes, we're looking at...
We have about 30 seconds to go.
Okay.
It's raining like hell here in Chicago.
It is. It's coming down, which is a good thing because we walked to dinner, and yikes. And I left my umbrella here in the room because I don't know why. It wasn't raining when I came in, because that's brilliant, right?
I'm going to put something in the chat box to see if that's working.
Got questions? Question mark in there.
Yeah, if I knew how to type.
Okay. Oh, good. It works.
It works. Yay.
Okay. What if nobody has questions?
Then we'll just
talk?
Yeah.
Okay, we can do that.
We'll still share insider
secrets. We're good at that.
Yeah.
We're good at that.
I got 2 computers going here.
Yeah.
This one and this one.
And we have both of our phones, so we have really 4 computers right now between the Hilton.
3 viewers, yay!
Hey, we have people watching. Hi, welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yes.
All right. Oh, and it's 7:01. Should we start talking and giving some stuff?
We have to give some
Oh,
tips
good. Now
and
we're
stuff.
down to we're down to 2.
So we're here doing this Google Hangout live in Chicago, Illinois, the land of Lincoln.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming to town.
It's good to be here.
Awesome. I'm Felicia Slattery.
And I'm Lou Bortone.
And I teach people about putting together speeches to market their business and to become professional speakers and market themselves and get booked and make all kinds of money. And Lou teaches people all kinds of cool stuff about video, which is why you're here, right? So why don't we talk about that? How did you get here?
I was invited to do a panel at the IRCE, which stands for Internet Retailers Conference and Exposition.
Cool.
So it's basically anybody who sells anything online, from Amazon on down.
Cool.
Big conference. They get about 10,000 people. This is their 10th year. I've done this one once before in San Diego. They asked me back.
Hey.
Paid for me to be here.
Nice.
So that's awesome.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? So Lou's the video guy. I'm the speaker person. And between the 2 of us, we decided, hey, guess what? We're going to have a class. Because I teach people how to get booked to get more speaking gigs. I wrote 21 Ways to Make Money Speaking. Maybe you read it. Lou teaches people how to use video. I said, hey, Lou, let's teach people how to use video to get more speaking gigs. And he was like, I love it.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to do. And that's starting, if you're listening, if you're watching this replay, who knows. But as of this moment, it's starting in 2 days, which is why when Lou said he was coming to Chicago, I said, perfect timing. Let's get together and hang out.
Yeah.
So we said, hey, we're going to do a hangout with you guys, and he and I are hanging out. We went to Lou Malnati's for dinner. Lou said, I'm in Chicago. I'm going to do some Chicago stuff. About deep dish pizza. How was it? Did you like it?
Yeah, yummy.
You got to love a little Lou's. Little Lou at Lou's. It was fun. All right. So we thought we would just share a little bit of information. Lou was starting to tell me a little story about something that happens to him right before you go on stage, and so I thought, well, we would start there, and then we had a couple other things we're going to talk about.
And if you guys have questions, put them in the chat box. We'll see them and respond.
Absolutely. Because now we have more than 2 viewers, which is nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So anyway, I asked Felicia because she does this all the time. She's a professional speaker, and I don't do it that often. When I do, I mean, I got up there, 100 people, a couple hundred people in the room. I'm doing my thing. Everything's going great. They had what's called a confidence monitor, so you can actually see the slides in front of you on a big monitor without having to go like this all the time.
Yeah, nice.
So the only problem I had, and I have this once in a while, is that my mouth was getting really dry, and I was starting to go. You pop your peas a little bit.
And your lips stick to your teeth. Did that happen?
And then I'm trying to talk to all these folks and be amusing and entertaining and engaging, and I'm like, oh my God, I can't. And I would have taken, this just wasn't a good time for a drink. I was afraid to take a drink of water because last time I was speaking and my mouth got really dry, I took a drink of water and some dripped because I'm a klutz on my lavalier mic and shorted it out. So not only my mic was gone, the whole panel's mics were gone. So I'm like, I'm not touching the water.
Drink water. That's funny.
So I wouldn't take a drink of water because I was afraid. But yeah, what do you do when you get you're up on stage doing your thing? It was also really bright. Like I couldn't really see the audience because it was so bright.
That's pretty common.
But I was just like, just getting dry. So.
All right. So that's pretty common, actually. When we get nervous, when we do something that's a little out of the ordinary, our bodies react in different ways. So it's basically your body's fight or flight response kicking in. And so your brain knows, no, I'm here, it's okay, it's all good, but your body's like, I'm not so sure, right? So for you, you get dry mouth. I get the same thing, so I can help you with that. But there's something I want to back up for, because you said, well, I don't do this really all the time. Yes, you do. I would like to reference Lou's Labs.
Oh, yeah, every Friday.
Every Friday, you've got a webinar that you do, right? And it's live.
Yep.
And you're speaking.
Yeah, sometimes I hide behind slides, but sometimes I'm on like this.
Right. So I want just for you to realize, and for anybody else to realize, that that counts as speaking. And more as corporations, large corporations, as they're realizing that they're trying to tighten up their budgets while still at the same time trying to provide and do the same services, the same kind of events they've done before. Like, how can we do that without spending as much money as we usually have? Well, guess what? Webinars are fantastic.
You're going to see more and more of this.
Way more.
Kind of stuff.
And I mean, I've been paid to teach webinars. So, and most of the time, actually, when you're doing webinars for companies, you are behind slides. So, like, really, I'm in my ponytail and I got my sweats on and I'm just hanging out. So that is actually one of the ways that you can make money speaking, is by doing webinars. So don't think that a webinar isn't something that's common. So now, actually, to answer your actual question, so what do I do with the dry mouth thing? Very common. So number one is you want to take a nice drink before you get mic'd up, before you're getting ready. Kind of just wet your palate a little bit, right? A little teeny bit of lemon juice in the water will help.
Really?
Any citrus helps your mouth start to salivate a little bit more, which is why you don't want to drink a huge glass of like orange juice before you go on, because then the pulp and the acid will make you like. Yeah, don't try that at home. No.
That's an official professional speaker.
That's a very professional thing. Yeah. So but a little squeeze of lemon in there, that acid in the water gets your mouth kind of the juices going in there. So that stops the mouth from being dry. So because what we're trying to do is we're trying to trick our body into not having those reactions that we want them to have, or hide them. So that little squeeze of lemon juice will help. So that's one. Another thing is I've had the same problem. And a lady just doesn't look pretty with water dribble down her dress. I'm just saying. So even if you don't short out the mic, it seems invariably when you take a drink out of one of those bottles, it's going to drip down. So either you can bring your own cup. You've seen those cups that have the straw sticking out of them. So bring a cup with a straw in it.
That'd be hard to spill.
Right, it is. And nobody's going to begrudge you a drink, and nobody's going to go, oh, look, he's using a cup with a straw. Like
sippy cup?
A sippy cup. Probably not a sippy cup. But that's actually the second point is, every ballroom, every hotel, which is where a lot of these things are, they've got just a regular glass. And I would show you a glass, but our computer's actually sitting on the glasses right now, so we can get it at the right height. You weren't looking up our noses tonight. You're welcome. So anyway, but everybody's got, all hotel rooms, all ballrooms, they have glasses. So just get a couple of their regular little glasses, because you're used to drinking and not dribbling, I presume.
Pretty much.
Okay, good.
For the most part.
For the most part, that's good. So then you can just take a regular drink instead of the bottles, which, for whatever reason, want to drip at the weirdest time. So either get a cup with a straw, stick a straw in your bottle, or just drink out of a regular glass, and nobody will begrudge you a drink ever. So there's that little tip.
Good. That's good to know.
Insider
It's nothing worse than being on stage and just being like. get the poppy lips and
I know, that's no fun. So, and that squeeze the lemon juice. Don't forget that.
And then what about, I mean, on this stage, and I'm sure on many stages, people will ask you questions from a mic, but I would literally have like this to see them because the lights were so bright, I couldn't see into the audience.
So that's common, actually. On real big stages, they're going to have tons of bright lights. And, people who are used to acting on big stages, like, that's not a big deal. That happens all the time, right? Kind of like, actually, you remember your days when you were in broadcast with the video, the camera, and you had the big camera, and it always had the big light.
Yep.
Right? And the reporters are used to it, right? Because they're like, big light's going to be shining on my face. Yep. So what did the reporters have to do? Do you remember?
No, that was too long.
Not look at the light.
Look at the lens.
Right? Look at the lens. So the same kind of thing is true. They couldn't see the viewers on the other end. They could just see the lens. Same thing for you. Look in the direction of. So before you go on, if you know this is going to happen, and you know there's going to be lights.
I know where the mic is.
You know where the mic is.
I'm going to look in the general direction of the mic.
Look in the general direction of the mic.
Pretend I'm looking at you.
Yep. Yes, really. I mean, just look in the general direction of the mic, and then answer. Just answer the questions like that. So, and ignore the light, pretend it's not even there, which is hard if you're not used to that, but you kind of get used to it after a little while. Just like the reporters got used to, here's this big video camera and that, TV camera with the light, and they just start to ignore it after a while. So as you do that, even throughout a single presentation where there's Q&A or a panel or whatever, you kind of start to tune it out, as long as you realize you don't let that thing play in your head that goes, but I can't see them. Where are they? And are they gonna think I'm weird? Like, just ignore it and pretend it's not even there, and just go on sharing your.
Because I know watching the previous speaker having the guy going like this was kind of disconcerting. It's like it's not almost impolite, but
it is. It's disconcerting, a little distracting.
Who the hell's out there?
Right? Yeah. Like, I can't hear you. What? It's like, what? You can hear. So you just kind of have to. That's one of those. I don't love fake it till you make it for a lot of situations, but for this one, it actually works. You fake this one until you realize it's not really about can I see them or the light or anything. It's about somebody is asking you for information from your area of expertise, and you're there to serve that audience. Right. So just remember, I'm here to serve from the stage.
All right, so here's the million-dollar question. I know a lot of the viewers have this. I have myself sometimes, but you've done some speeches, you've spoken at wherever, Toastmasters, you've done some non-paid gigs. How do you make the jump to being paid as a speaker?
That's a great question, and okay, so I'm smiling because Lou does not know what he just did. But he just queued up me talking about our course. So here, which you did not even know.
Planned.
Honestly, it was not planned. So how you make that jump is you need to be presenting yourself in your marketing materials as a professional speaker. Right. So if you've spoken for free, you should have photos of yourself, and we're going to talk about the money shots in just a minute. You should have photos of yourself on stage. You should have video of yourself on stage. You should have testimonials from meeting planners, from audience members about how fantastic you were to work with and how wonderful you were on stage and how much they learned or how funny you were, or whatever the case may be for whatever you're going to sell yourself, right? So you want to have you need to have all these marketing pieces in place. You need to have somewhere on your website where a meeting planner could go to see what are the topics that you talk about, so a way that they can easily connect with you. Often, if you want to really look professional, especially if you want to travel, tell them on your website, where do you travel from? What airport, what international airport do you travel from? Because all of these things put in place says to a meeting planner, you know what they're looking for. And what was another thing I was going to say? So you need testimonials, you need pictures, you need video, you need to say where you're going from, you need the website, and there was one other thing that I had in my head to answer your question. It'll hit me in a second. So you want all of these pieces because all of them, professional headshot, you want one of those. Of because at the level where you're going from free to fee, it's a different situation. Like I tell people all the time, every day, go deliver a signature speech,
Mhm.
which is it's a trademark thing that I put together to help you market your business, no matter what kind of business you do. If you've got a service-based business, put together a speech, deliver it for free, because it's a marketing tool. How often you get to market your business in a perfect way, the most powerful way, for free, right? Go do it every day. That's what video allows you to do long distance. Public speaking allows you to do it face-to-face or via webinar, right? So, all right, so go do the free speeches and build this stuff up. But there's a different expectation, because when you show up for free, the bar's not all that high.
Mhm.
The bar's not all that high. When somebody gives you money, the bar suddenly goes up real high.
Mhm.
So you've got to provide that experience, right? So one of the things I say to folks all the time is think about the amount of money that you're going to want to charge,
Mhm.
and the experience that they have, even as they come into this is who Lou Bortone is, has to match that. So
Mhm.
if you want to charge, think of different department stores. So like there's Kmart and there's Walmart, and then there's Saks Fifth Avenue and Nordstrom's and Von Maur. They're vastly different experiences,
Mhm.
right? Same idea. You're going to go to a store and you're going to buy clothes or things that you need, right? But two different experiences, two different kinds of audiences going to two different places. And sometimes do Walmart, Kmart shoppers go to some other stores? Yeah, they do. And do the high-end shoppers go to the cheaper stores? Sure, they do.
Mhm.
But you want to set up that experience that you want to have for your audience. So if you're going to start charging money, maybe you're not necessarily confident enough to say, yeah, I'm going to charge $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, right? So, all right, well, if you're going to charge $5,000, well, think about that's kind of, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. That's kind of on the lower end. So think like, all right, I'm going to give a Target experience. Target's a nice store, right?
Yeah.
And lots of folks shop there. So what's a Target experience look like? Well, it's still, the stuff's in order on the shelves,
Mhm.
and there's still plenty of lanes to check out in. Typically, the people at Target are friendly, at least friendlier than the way bargain stores, right? But they're not going to necessarily get the Nordstrom's Von Maur experience.
Right.
So you want your marketing materials to reflect the kind of experience that you want your meeting planners to have with you from the beginning.
Mhm.
So that means a professional headshot, as opposed to the selfie that you took with the camera, click, click, right? Or the one that you took in front of, a nice picture. Like that may be fine for Facebook. That may be fine for Twitter. But if you're saying I'm a professional, then you need to come across as a professional. You need to have the shopping experience, so to speak, of a professional speaker. Just like when you go to Nordstrom's, Von Maur, Saks Fifth Avenue, you do not expect to see stuff strewn all over the place and sale signs that are, numbers half falling off and all that stuff, right? Like, they're very well organized. They're very neat. They're very nice. The people who work there are to address their people in certain, address the customers in a certain way. So you want to look at what's the experience that you want to provide. Do you want to provide a Target experience, which is a nice experience? Do you want to provide a Nordstrom experience? And whatever it is, your marketing materials need to go along with that. Does that answer your question a little bit?
It does, yeah.
Right.
And the same with video, because if you've got video on your site, especially if you have a speaker reel,
Mhm.
I mean, that's got to look professional, because they want to know who they're getting and that you can command that audience. And we talked about this a little bit in our webinar too, but as our friend Michael Port says, well, anybody can fake it to a 3-minute reel. You can take footage and make it look good.
Mhm.
They want to know that you can engage that audience and hold that audience, beyond just the soundbite.
Absolutely, yeah. So one of the things that I tell people all the time is you've got to have video of you of some kind. Now,
Mhm.
what if, yes, you've spoken for free, but for whatever reason you don't have video yet? Well, number one, get one more free speaking gig, or the next paid speaking gig. By the way, I get video anytime I speak. In my contract, one of the clauses I have is if you're going to have a videographer at the event, then you absolutely cannot record me and my intellectual property unless you give me a copy of that to use as I would like. Guess who says no? Nobody. Nobody. So I have video of me on various stages in various outfits with various hairstyles, right? And I know, Lou, you wouldn't have that problem necessarily, but showing that this is, I do this all the time, and you can see that through the video that I share. And you want to have the same thing. So make sure wherever you go, have somebody shoot video. If you don't have that yet and you still say, well, I still want to speak and I still want to get paid, you can. And there are other videos you can do. Lou, what would be an example of one or two of the videos that somebody could make of them sharing so that a meeting planner could get a feel for their personality?
Yeah, well, testimonial videos, especially if you have another meeting planner or another big event that you've been at, and you've gotten that testimonial that said, oh, this was, you know, so great, the audience was thrilled, yada, yada, yada. And those don't have to be high quality because it's really more about the content than the video. So testimonials, even if you're just doing like a video tip series on YouTube and you're sharing tips and tricks and things like that, it's still going to give that event planner a sense of what you're like on camera.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to be, you know, we talked about the money shot a little bit. It doesn't have to be that big shot from stage. But if you can get that, you know, I think one of the things we forgot to talk about on the webinar was like having that money shot.
Yeah.
Because think about it, like I did a speaker reel for Michael Port way back when, and there was one shot where he was at a really big event, and he was like this small on stage in a giant room with all kinds of lights and a huge audience. I mean, that speaks volumes. That says right away in that one shot, this person has spoken for big groups. They can handle a big room. They're ready for whatever.
Yep, and that's the money shot. So there's actually 3 money shots. Okay, so one is of you on stage, the photographer is behind the audience, and it's of you out there doing your thing, where with all the heads, you know, facing your direction. So that's one of the big money shots. The second big money shot is exactly the reverse. So the photographer standing behind you, getting the audience,
If we can see this.
looking at you.
I don't think we can see. No.
Can you see that?
See this?
You can kinda
I
see
took
it.
a shot of the microphone before I started with the big audience in the background. It's kind of hard to see, but the idea is that, like, okay, here's this big room. You know, you're not just at a round table speaking at a workshop. You're at an event speaking at a ballroom.
Absolutely. You know, you're not in a room with a tiny little conference room with 3 people looking at you, unless, by the way, unless that's what you're selling. If you want to sell yourself as, listen, I do these super intensive retreat style workshops, then, which by the way you can get paid a whole lot of money for, by all means, you need to have the shot of you in the conference room with 5 people, all with their sleeves rolled up and like looking at you like you're a genius, because you are, of course, right? That's a whole nother class I teach. So anyway, but so behind you, if you could have seen the picture, I don't know how well you saw it, but the picture of behind you of the stage. So Lou didn't have another photographer, even really a friend there today to take a picture. No friends. Well, it wasn't one of our regular events where we go and there was a ton of our buds, right? Totally different audience, because they paid all your way to get here, right? So, which is awesome. But then you're in a room with a bunch of people that you don't know. You can't very well say, hey, can you take my camera and just take a picture back there behind me? Like, they'll be like, what are you talking about? So anyway, so that picture was a good one. That's a good alternative to having your head and everybody else. But if you can get a shot from behind you of the audience looking at you and the audience reacting, so they're smiling, they're laughing, or they're like really intent, like I'm trying to nod, this is good stuff, right? Yeah, the audience like, oh, really compelled, whatever. That is another good money shot. The third one is a close-up of you with a mic, some kind of professional looking microphone, a handheld mic, or the I call them the Britney Spears mic.
Yeah.
That's how old am I? But you know those the headset mics. So something of you like that like you're in action, whatever it is. I do this a lot when I'm on stage. So my action shots tend to be me going. Oh, we're having a good time.
I remember the time you dressed up as a detective.
I do that. That's my keynote. Yeah, so I come in, my attention getter, I have a pink, which I should have used tonight actually. My actual raincoat. I have a kind of somewhere between baby pink and hot pink raincoat, and then I bought this sequin fedora And I wear that when I come in with a clipboard and like, there's a crime. It's from my Kill the Elevator speech keynote, and it's all about, there's been a crime. It could have been committed right here in this very room, and so I look at the note, the thing, like I'm reading my notes or reading my notes, whatever the case may be, depending on how new the speech is or not. But anyway, so yeah, I come in and it's a big theatrical thing, which actually leads to another tip, is when you're a speaker, particularly if you're a keynote speaker and you don't have a big name. Now, Lou, you're a big deal. And I'm a big deal. But not necessarily the whole world knows that we're big deals yet. And so for us to come in as keynotes, we are there for 2 reasons. Number 1, to be entertainment. And number 2, to deliver some useful content so that the audience has some takeaways. A keynote speaker is not a trainer. A keynote speaker is not someone who the audience is going to be taking mad notes during the entire keynote, unless the meeting planner is using the word keynote, but that's not what they want, which is why you talk to the meeting planners in depth and you find out exactly what they want, and they can call you whatever they want to call you. But
as long as the check clears.
That's right. There you go. But typically, a keynote speaker is entertainment and a little bit of content, and the entertainment value is huge, absolutely huge. So that's why I come in with the costume and the hat, and I have music, and it's about being big. It's about creating this fun experience, or it doesn't necessarily have to be fun. For me, it's fun, but some level of drama, of theatrical experience for your audience to kind of be sucked into the moment and forget that they're in a conference ballroom and kind of be like, wow, what's this going to be about? This is going to be interesting, and just be happy and excited and be ready to receive the content that you share. But it's not about delivering, tons and tons and tons of content, because there's a lot of value in you as an edutainer, we'll say. You're delivering education and entertainment at the same time.
So, and one of the things that Michael Port mentioned recently when he does a speaker class as well, and he used to be an actor, so he talks a lot from the performance aspect. And one of the things that I realized that I used to be guilty of, but you can address this, is when you come on stage and you're introduced, you don't want to say, oh, I have a few housekeeping items, the restrooms are on the left. By the way, I'm really sorry that I'm wearing this, but the airline lost my luggage. They don't give a shit. Sorry, they don't give a crap about any of that stuff. You're there to do a job and to entertain and engage. And, you're not there to tell them where the restrooms are. So, I mean, how do you deal with that? I mean, you just come on and...
You're on and you're on. So that's called an attention getter. And in real estate, they say location, location, location. So in your speech, that is prime real estate. Those first 10 to 30 seconds that you're up there, and it's not the first 10 to 30 seconds that you intend to speak after you do the housekeeping. It's the literal, and here's Lou Bortone, yay, and up you come. Those 10 seconds are the amount of time, exactly 10 seconds in fact, that you have to make your impression on the audience, and they're going to decide, am I going to pay attention to this guy, or am I going to get on the phone because I can't believe I have to sit here and I'm just going to do this during this whole thing, right? So, and the meeting planners, they don't want their audiences doing this. They're not paying you for that. They're paying you to serve the audience, serve from the stage. And so those first 10 seconds are crucial. You come in and you start with a powerful and interesting, a fun, a funny, exciting, dramatic, some kind of attention getter, compelling something that is far beyond, hi, my name's Felicia. I'm so happy to be here today, and I'm going to talk to you. So here we go. No. And, bathrooms are down the hall. Like, no.
What if you're following somebody who either did really good or really bad? Do you reference the previous speaker or build upon what they did?
That's a good question.
I have smart questions
too. And if you all have questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box. We see you here, so pop them in. Do we have any?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
Or at least I'm
box.
probably not using it properly because I'm used to doing webinar jam, and this is just a pure Google
different
Hangout
thing. Anyway, so and if you've written questions and we don't see them and we don't address them, we're sorry. You know what? Put them on Twitter and tag me,
We'll see them.
At Felicia Slattery. You could do that, or tag at Lou Bortone. But tag us, and we've got our stuff here. So
yeah, I'll shake the computer up a little bit just to make
don't
sure.
shake the computer up. So what did you just ask?
Oh, if you're going on after somebody.
Oh, okay, yeah, after somebody
really
was great or not so
or
great.
really bad.
Okay, so you always actually reference the other speakers during your presentation, never in the first 10 to 30 seconds. Because, again, that's your prime real estate of your speech. So absolutely stick with your attention getter. Unless there's something so completely outside of the ordinary that you just have to address it.
Right.
You're in California and there's an earthquake. It does happen. It does happen, right? So, like, something really crazy like that, but you come on, you follow a speaker who is fantastic, or you follow a speaker who wasn't fantastic, whatever. Typically, in between speakers, they have, they may even do like a 5-minute, restroom break or leg stretch break. So you're usually not like back to back to back to back to back, where here's a fantastic speaker and then you're not being introduced, and now I'm standing here and I'm like, oh boy, I got this, I gotta follow this, right? Or, oh boy, I gotta follow that, now what, Start with your attention getter. And then at some point during your speech, wherever it seems and feels appropriate to how you've planned your presentation, then you would address the other speaker or speakers at the event. And I would never, ever say if I thought somebody did a bad job. Never. I mean, I'm not going to call somebody out like that on stage.
It'd be kind of fun, though, because, like, today, I swear to God, I followed a guy, and, he was okay, but very technical and very dry. And, I was so tempted to go up there and just say, oh, my God, what a yawn fest. Okay, let's go. But you can't do that.
You can't do that, no. But you can make a joke. And you can say something like, well, I am nowhere near as smart as that guy was about all of those things, but I'm going to do my best to translate what I know for you. Something like that kind of gives you almost do a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge with the audience, like, I know what you just went through because I was here going through it with you, or at least part of it. And you and me, we're going to do it a little different than you and that guy. So you do a little wink. You kind of learn a little bit, from experience, a little bit of wink, nudge, nudge, and you address them. So, or if somebody was fantastic, just say, "Gosh, wasn't he amazing? Wow, they were great." And so one of my favorite things that they said was blah, 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 and whatever it is that relates to what you're talking about. So you get to almost ride the coattails of the genius of that other person because you're pointing out what they said that was brilliant related to what you can share in your own brilliance. See what I mean? Right. So that's kind of fun and cool.
So bringing it full circle back to video, which is what I do. It seems like now, I mean, you really can't be hired as a paid speaker if they haven't seen you live or seen your video. I mean, it's kind of like a calling card now in a resume, and it's something that it seems like you just have to have some of that.
So I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
So for people who are either new to speaking or they don't necessarily have a huge budget, maybe they've got one video or maybe they've got some pictures of them on stage, do they need to pay somebody? I mean, I know you're like several $1,000s for, to do one video, like one, I know you call them sizzle videos, to do one of those. Like, should they invest in that several $1,000s, or is there like software that they can buy to do it, or are there like shortcuts to that? I know we're going to get into details of all this stuff in the class, but like kind of a quick tip that we could share right now.
Yeah, we'll look at that stuff in the class. But again, it depends on the level that you're shooting for, because if you're trying to get a $10,000 gig, a photo montage that you did on Animoto probably not going to cut it. But if you have absolutely nothing and you're just trying to get a foothold and get out there, then a bunch of photos of you speaking with audiences clapping and a nice montage that you make on Animoto or stupeflix.com.
Okay, slow down. Say them again.
Animoto.com.
Animoto, ANIMOTO.com. Like Lou just says it because he lives it and he knows it, and he's like a video guy. But I'm telling you,
Animoto.
People are watching this and they've never heard of Animoto.
And Stupeflix, STUPEFLIX. Now you can take a bunch of photos that you have from your event, maybe some audience shots, some money shots like we talked about, and turn those into a lovely little professional-looking montage. And even having that is a hell of a lot better than having nothing, because you don't want to say, if you're talking to the speaker bureau or whoever it is, you know, can you send me a sample? Oh, well, I don't really have one. What? Okay.
What? Yeah.
Call me when you're this many, as we used to say.
Call me when you're this many. That's funny.
So, hey, how old are you? This? Well, call me when you're this.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Good.
So yeah, you got to have. I mean, you know, you have to have something. So start with that, and then as you kick it up a notch and you become more professional, you can, you know, get to the point where you have a speaker reel or a sizzle reel or testimonials and all that other kind of video. That's good to have.
Awesome. And we talked about the details that need to go into that sizzle reel at the webinar last week, so hopefully you were there for that. And I guess, you know, we've been on for a while now.
Yeah.
And I have to drive home in the rain soon. So just to mention, again, we are teaching a class, and we're calling it the Speaker Video Master Class. Like, we're going to do this thing for speakers with video. What are we calling it? I don't know. So we keep trying to remember the name. Speaker Video Master Class. And you can get to that through Lou's website at Lou Bortone, LOUBORTONE.com/speaker video.
I believe that's it. And if not, we'll put it in the chat or send it out in the replay.
Yeah, we'll send
it. Yeah, that's the other thing, like, about these, like, we're doing a Google Hangout, which we just did totally on the fly, impromptu, and this is a video that we can use, you know, again, as a promotional video. So there's people watching live, but there are people that will see the replay. When you do a Google Hangout, it goes directly to your Google Plus account and to your YouTube account. So it's kind of like getting a three for just one Hangout.
Nice.
So yeah, but these are the kinds of things and many others that we'll talk about in the class that starts this week.
Absolutely.
Very reasonable, because I forgot to change the price because I was on a plane and
So the price was supposed to go up, but it didn't. And Lou's VA is on vacation. That's the honest to goodness. That's totally what's happening.
She's on vacation. I'm like in Infusionsoft saying, how do you work this? How do you land this thing? So you can still get in for like dirt cheap and do this awesome 3-week class with us. And we're going to talk about, what were the 3 Ps? Promotion, platform, and something else that
positioning. Positioning is first.
We really should know this.
We should know it. I'm doing the slides right like now. So positioning is the first week. Then the second week we're going to talk about platform, and then the third week we're talking about promotions. So what does positioning mean? It means making sure that you are set up to be the expert that you are, and you're effectively communicating that through video.
Right.
So we'll be talking about all of the different types of videos in which you can position yourself as, number one, the go-to person in your niche, number two, the expert that you are with your content. Okay, so that's the first.
And if you want to be a $10,000 or $20,000 speaker, you got to look like a $10,000 or $20,000 speaker.
Absolutely, yeah. And so that's the first week. The second week then will be platform, and platform is a thing that is in this. It's, if you're not familiar with the term, it's more in the author world than the speaker world, but more and more meeting planners are looking at the size of your platform. And by the way, if you want to get booked to speak and you want to get sponsors to have you speak, whether you're being paid to show up or not, sponsors will pay you. And if you want sponsorship, then you need to have a platform. Sponsors want to see this platform. So what does platform mean? It means that that's the number of people that are following you and your stuff, your content that you have out there. So your YouTube, the number of YouTube subscribers to your channel, your followers on Twitter, your friends on Facebook, your likers on Facebook, your connections on LinkedIn, the pinners on Pinterest. All of these people, all of these numbers equal your email list. All of these things equal your platform. So we'll talk about using video to build that platform. And then finally, the last week is video for promotion. How do you use video to promote yourself as a professional speaker? And I'll share with you some insider tips about videos that you can make for specific speaking events so that you can get yourself booked, which is really cool, and ways that you can use video to get even video that you make for an audience of literally one person, that only one person is ever going to see, how that one video that you may feel like, really, do I need to put my hair and makeup on and get the lights right, which we've struggled with because we're in a hotel room, so what do you want? But, right, so even if you're just going to make this video for one person one time, How can you, why would you want to do that? How do you do that? What do you say? Who do you make that for? And how does that get you booked, get you making money as a speaker? So
and even subtle ways, like today when I was on stage, I could do a quick little 6-second Vine video, and I haven't posted it yet. But just, okay, I'm about to go on, here's the audience, and you're kind of showing like, okay, well, obviously he's spoken for a big audience because there's a big audience. And that's a 6-second Vine video that took 6 seconds to make.
Absolutely. You pop that on your, you can you pull Vine videos off of Vine?
Well, I can. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you can do. Yeah. Oh, you can do it with screen capture software, right? Sure. So you go to Vine and you play it and you screen cap it. So look at me being all techy fancy. Who knew I know stuff about that? Anyway, so you grab that and then you can put that on your YouTube channel. You put that in your speaker reel and all different kinds of places. So join the class. It'll be way more organized than this. This is literally, Luke said, oh, I'm coming to Chicago. Do you think you might be able to come down? Maybe we can have dinner or something. I was like, yeah. And I said, well, we're going to be in the same room. We should probably do something together for you. So here we are doing something together for you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being here. Yes, thank
you so much. And check out the speaker class. It's going to be a blast. It's really affordable because I forgot to increase the price like I was supposed to. Bortone.com/speaker video.
Speaker video, we believe.
Speaker video.
Yes, and where this appears on YouTube, we will definitely add the description, and the link will be there in the description. So if you're looking at this on YouTube after we are done with the Hangout, then just click below. There we go.
Awesome. See you then.
Thanks. See you. Bye.
Bye. And we click this.